So we got 5 days now until I start taking animals to the sale barn. I got 5 days until market day. And so today I figured that I would talk about my personal finances, because the whole situation that I'm in right now is that I was originally anticipating that it would take me about until about October, right? I was saying this. I thought it was going to take me about somewhere by about October I would be ready to grow my business. But as of right now, I was able to actually shorten that down to next week. So as of right now, I am actually going to be able to full on grow my business. I'm not going to be waiting until October. I'm actually as of today, starting next week, I will be full on growing my business. And so I figured I would talk about my personal finances. I always say that money is not an opinion, right? Money is not an opinion. Nobody cares about your opinions. When you take a look at something, when you take a look at money, it is a statement of a fact. Nobody cares about an opinion, all right? If die poor by yourself, have fun with that. Money is not an opinion. And when you take a look at something, like when I take a look at my situation and I say, okay, I'm going to be selling 7 animals a month. I'm going to be selling them at $650 and I'll probably end up buying them at $200. There is a monetary value to that, right? It doesn't matter if I'm doing it in the future. It doesn't matter if I did it in the past. It doesn't matter when. There is a monetary value to that. If you're going to come up with a broader idea of how to get this idea, how do you come up with these monetary values? Let's say I'm talking about the cattle market, and I'm talking about, okay, I'm looking at liquidating animals at 200, and I'm gonna liquidate these animals at 650. I'm actually raising the target market weight to 800, and I am going to bring them home at 200. How do I formulate that monetary value? Right? I go on the stock market, I look at the feeder cattle price, and then I use the formula. That's how I do it. That is the monetary value that is involved. It's not some, oh my God, right? There's no way to, keep it to yourself. I mean, you're gonna die poor. All right, legitimately, it's like a lot of times it's like you probably don't understand this, but if you are in this death loop of poorness, you are going to die poor, and you're probably going to be miserable because of it. All right, I don't know how else to break you out of that than to just tell you what's going on. Most people are stuck in a death loop of poorness. I guarantee it. It doesn't matter where I go. I could legitimately drive around in a 3-hour circle, in a 5-hour circle. I could legitimately zigzag every which way. I guaranteed. You put me in the middle of a Walmart and I collect everybody out of that Walmart, and I have an honest to God conversation with every single person. Almost everybody is in a death loop of poorness. I guarantee it. Lying to yourself is not going to make your situation any better. Hating on successful people is not going to make your situation any better. I don't know how else to put it. I mean, you got to get it together. I give a lot of answers, I give a lot of various answers. I give the best answers that I can. At the end of the day, it just is what it is. I am one of, in the year 2024, I was successful. I was financially one of the most successful people in the entire country. In the entire country. All right, and it's probably going to get worse. When I take a look at my situation right now, I'm actually going to expand my business starting next week. It's not going to take me 5 months. I'm full on expanding my business starting right now. And let's take a look at let's just take a look at my personal finances, right? And this is also what I mean by money is completely negligible. It doesn't matter, go and find a good deal. I talk about this all the time, right? Do I take bad deals? No, I don't take bad deals. I don't care about your deal. If you died tomorrow with your deal, I wouldn't even notice. I don't take bad deals, right? Right, and this is what I've been saying this for a long time. The money does not matter. You got a lot of different things to worry about. I mean, you're kind of an idiot. I mean, you're poor. There's a lot of problems. There's a massive pile of problems. You got to learn how to run cattle. You got to learn how to grow grass. You got to learn how to, run a business. You got to put in, the effort yourself. You got to start doing the work yourself. There are a lot of things that you have to work through. The money is the least of your worries. The money does not matter. At the end of the day, you'll make the money when you actually succeed. And then you can use the money that you make to pay for your expenses. And this is a very realistic example of what I talk about all the time and what I show you all the time, right? I'm legitimately going to expand my business by about 250%. And maybe it costs me $1,000 a month to do so. Maybe $1,000 a month. And I'm going to be growing my business by 250%. Right? I mean, the $1,000 a month that I need to grow my business, I will just pull it out of the business, right? I mean, when I increase my, take a look at what I'm doing. Even right now, I'm doing very well for myself, right? I mean, just take a look at it for what it is. The money is so negligible, it does not matter. At the end of the day, it's like, you should probably learn, to run cattle, learn how to grow grass, learn how to run a business, don't be an idiot and get yourself together and, there are a lot of things that you need to do. There are a lot of things that need to be done. All right, the $1,000 is the least of my concerns. I don't even care about the $1,000. All right, this is a very realistic example. And I talk about this all the time. I talk about this in everything. Right? I don't care about the cost of the cattle, right? Why do I not care about the cost of the cattle? Because the cattle buy the cattle, right? If I take care of the animals and if I buy the right animals and I buy them at the right values, etc., then my cattle pay for themselves. Right? I talk about this all the time. It doesn't matter what I'm talking about. It could be about grain. Why do I not care about the cost of the grain? Right? Because usually I utilize grain as a supplement for the grass. And granted that I supplement the grass properly, I actually make a positive return on the grain. I would actually lose money if I stopped feeding grain. Then why would I care about the cost of the grain? All right, take a look at my situation right now. For me to grow my business by 250%, maybe it costs me $1,000 a month. Why would I sit here and care about the $1,000 a month? Why would I, there are a lot of things to do. Why would I sit here and think about $1,000 a month? I wouldn't. It would be irrational. It would be borderline moronic, idiotic. There are a lot of things that need to be done. Right? I don't care about the money. All right, there are a lot of things that need to be done. The $1,000 that I need to expand my business, I will just pull it out of the money when I expand my business. And I talk about this all the time, in terms of grass. For me to grow grass, is it cheaper or is it more expensive if I grow it myself than to buy feed? It is substantially cheaper. I may and here's a very reasonable way to look at it. I've actually said that my business right now costs about $1,500 a month to run, right? For me to run my business, it costs about $1,500 a month. Even if I expand the number of animals that I have by 250%, right? I have 30 animals. I have 33 animals. Let's say I take myself up to 80 animals. But even when I take myself up to 80 animals, maybe my business costs me $2,500. Why does that happen? Because I am going to grow 100 acres of grass. That is why. Growing grass is very, very, very cheap, borderline free. And if I supplement that grass properly, the grain that I feed the animals actually produces me a positive return as well. All right, I will legitimately be expanding my business by 250%, and it will cost me $1,000, maybe $1,000. I would anticipate that for me to run 80 animals on 100 acres, it would cost me about $2,500 a month. For me to run 33 animals on 10.5 acres, it would cost me about $1,500. That's what I anticipate. And within the next month, all of these animals are going to go off to the various lease properties. All of them are, if not to the sale barn. And I'm actually going to focus myself on growing my business. But this is what I mean, right? I mean, I've said this, it's like, but if you're poor, you're probably going to die poor. You probably are. And that's a majority of people. I almost guarantee it. If you manage to snap out of it, it is a miracle. I mean, legitimately, it is like, I don't know how, but if you manage to snap yourself out of it, it is a miracle. There are a lot of things that need to be done. The money is irrelevant. All of the money, and I'm gonna spend time today to just talk about my personal finances. All right, and I'll just talk about my money personally. The money that and this is a very realistic way to look at it, the money that I need to run my business comes from my business. I don't know how else to put that. And I talk about this all the time. What does this cost me? Like, if you take a look at this situation, what do you think that this costs me? It costs me nothing, right? It costs me nothing. If I stopped running this business, I would hemorrhage money. I would legitimately hemorrhage money. I would hemorrhage money. This business does not cost me anything. It makes me money. That's another, and I talk about this idea in many different facets, right? I talk about these ideas in many different whatevers, right? And at the end of the day, I say this all the time. At the end of the day, I'm the one with the money. I'm the one who makes the money. I'm the one who knows how to make the money. Money is not an opinion. Nobody cares about your opinions. All right, you're gonna die poor. Have fun with that. All right, and it's kind of pathetic. I mean, how do you end up in a country where it's like there was just so much opportunity everywhere? You are legitimately flooded with opportunities. You could legitimately get on your cell phone right now and read any book on the entire planet, just about. You could read whatever you want. You could learn about anything that you want. You don't have to ask the government for nothing. If you want to go and start your business, you can go and start your business. You have so many opportunities. How do you possibly end up poor in this situation? I don't understand. America is like the land of opportunity. There is no better place. It doesn't get any easier. I mean, you are legitimately surrounded with opportunity. You could learn how to do something new, and then it's like you have all this opportunity, and then you turn yourself into an idiot. All right, I don't understand how that happens, right? But if you snap out of it, I mean, it is a miracle, a legitimate miracle. All right, but by the time you turn poor, it's almost always a death sentence. If you're in a situation where, that there are many, how do you know if you're poor? Well, if you have any if you are worried about money in any shape or form, you would probably be better off making more money. You probably would, granted that you don't sell your soul to the devil to do it. If you are legitimately if there is a slight sliver of your soul that is concerned about money, then you're probably better off just making more money. You probably are. There are, if you're lying to yourself, if you are legitimately scraping yourself, like scraping money out the bottom every month, if you are in that situation, then you're poor. Lying to yourself is not going to help anything. All right, you're mentally a poor person. You're not broke. You're legitimately poor, because even if I had $0, I could redo everything in 3 seconds. It does not matter to me. It does not matter to me, right? At the end of the day, I'm the one who I actually know how to make the money, and I'm the one who actually makes the money. How much money do I make? If you actually took a look at it for what it is, 99.99999% of the entire country was closer to being homeless than to making as much money as me in the year 2024. Legitimately, that is just information. I don't know how else to put it. I legitimately do not worry about money at all. Even if I lost my farm, it doesn't matter to me. Even if I lost all my cattle, I lost my business, I would redo everything in 3 seconds. It doesn't matter to me. All right, but let's talk about personal finances. And actually, this is a very realistic way to look at it. I will probably be circulating about $50,000, $60,000 a month, something like that. But I will only be putting in about $5,000 to $6,000 a month of my own money. The rest of the money, the $44,000, the $34,000 will actually come directly from me just running my business. That's another very realistic way to put it. I will probably circulate about 50 grand and only about $6,000 will come out of my pocket. So in this situation, where do you think I get the $6,000 from? I pull the $6,000 out of the $50,000 that I make. Right? Very, very, very simple, right? It's not some I've always said that money is not complicated. If I make 50,000 and it costs me 6,000, then how much, what do you think I'm gonna pull that 6,000 out of the 50,000? Right? Very simple. It's not some complicated thing. Money is not difficult. Right? Money is very simple. Money is not an opinion. It is not up for debate. Right? You just take a look at it and it is what it is. All right, so take a look at my situation, right? And think about the finances. I will be expanding my business by about 250%. And I would anticipate reasonably that it costs me an extra $1,000 a month. That's what I would reasonably anticipate. I don't care about the $1,000. I don't. The $1,000 is so negligible to me that I don't even know how else to put that. There are a lot of things that I need to do to get my business to expand 250%. I'm not worried about the $1,000. All right, this is the big idea, right? I mean, in terms of, because, okay, and I tell because my whole situation is that at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm the one who made it, right? I'm the one who knows how to make the money. I'm the one who makes the money. This is not an opinion. At the end of the day, the results just are what they are. If I legitimately took a bet with the entire country, and, we just took a bet. If I took a bet with the entire country and just said, how much money did you make in 2024? How much money did you generate in 2024? Did you start a business? Did you create a service? Did you create a product? I mean, how much income did you have? And let's just take a look at it. If we were to just take a look at it for what it is in terms of a numerical fact, and I took a bet with the entire country, the entire bet was you are closer, in a monetary sense, you are closer to being homeless than to having generated as much money as I did. And that was the entire bet. And I offered the bet at a 10-to-1 odds. My 10 to your 1. I would be a multi-billionaire. I created my own business. I produce my own goods. Right? I do very well for myself. I produce a substantial net positive excess cash flow. It doesn't matter. Money is not an opinion. Money is not an opinion. All right? It doesn't matter what anybody thinks. Have fun dying poor by yourself. Legitimately, don't take anybody else down with you. Being poor does not have any benefits. There is legitimately zero benefit. Oh my God, now that I'm poor, I must be a good person. Oh my God, now that I'm poor, it must make me a hard. I've been hardened by being poor. You're an idiot. I don't know how else to put that. There is no benefit to being poor. Why not do the exact same thing but just have a lot of money? Right? Why not? There is no benefit to being poor. I guarantee it. There is no benefit to being poor. And if you take a look, and I offer my situation as a unique, as a perspective, because at the end of the day, it is what it is. I actually made it, right? I don't even worry about money. There are a lot of things for me to be thinking about other than money. It's going to cost me $1,000 a month to grow my business by 250%. I don't care about the $1,000. I don't. The $1,000 is so negligible to me, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The money is so irrelevant, it doesn't matter. I already produce a massive excess cash flow, and I'm on a 10.5 acre field. And I'm showing you a very real life example. This is real life. right? I don't know how else to put that. This is real life. All right, like, I'm not making this up. I'm not like AI generating these animals on my field and then just coming up with some AI script and talking about it on a daily basis. I'm not doing that. This is real life. I am showing you a very realistic example of what it looks like when you generate massive sums of money. I don't even know how much money I make. I don't. And how did I do that? Right, I take my money, I invest in equitable assets at appraisal values that I get tax deductions for, and then I appraise the value of those assets. That is my entire business. When I do that, that asset produces me a positive return, and my business is evaluated at a multiple of the positive return. That's it. It's not difficult. Write it down, write that whole thing down, and say it to yourself 50 times until you remember it. I take my money, I purchase equitable assets. When I look for an equitable asset, I'm looking for something with a very large amount of equity, a multi-trillion-dollar market, commodities. I'm looking for a, land, multi-trillion-dollar market. I'm looking for something with a very large market. Multi-hundred-billion-dollar company, multi-trillion-dollar asset. I'm looking for something like that. And then I take my money and then I find something in that asset that is tax deductible. I take my money and I purchase that asset. I get the tax deduction, and then I appreciate the value of the asset profitably. And when I do that, I can actually grow my wealth income tax free. That's how I do it. And I'm not the only one that does it like this. This is something that everybody can do. It doesn't matter. You could have $10 billion, you could have $100 billion, you could have $100, you could have $1. It doesn't matter. We all have the same opportunity. Because, and the whole thing about money to me, and, if I'm going to talk about personal finances, how do I see money? It is so ridiculous when it's like how, like when, it's like if you legitimately think that this is unfair, oh my God, this is a guy making, tens of thousands of, if not millions, I don't even know how much money I make. I know I make a lot. I make a lot. I don't even know. I wouldn't be surprised if 99.99999% of the entire country was closer to being homeless than to generating as much money as me. I would not be surprised. But it is so ridiculous when it's like, oh my God, right, rich people are bad. Oh my God, now that he has money, he's a horrible person. That is so ridiculous. I don't understand. How do you, it's like maybe you should spend some time and just, maybe, I don't know, don't be an idiot. I don't know what else to say. It's like, how do you end up in that situation? Right? Money doesn't make you happy, and you're scraping out the bottom of the barrel every single month, and you have nothing, and, you're borderline. How do you end up in that situation? You should have probably just gone and made yourself some more money. It's not, America is the land of opportunity. You can legitimately do anything. I mean, granted that, don't go and sell your soul to the devil or anything. I mean, you can, I don't understand, right? I mean, there was so much opportunity everywhere. I legitimately managed to start myself a multi-million-dollar business in my backyard, running commercial cattle on a 10.5-acre field. I don't understand. How do you end up in a situation where you legitimately have nothing and then you turn into a moron loser? I don't get it. That's a majority of people. I mean, let's just be honest about it. Legitimately, probably 80% of the country. I don't understand. You could, go and learn something. Go and figure it out. Do something. If you have an iPhone, you legitimately have access to like every book on the entire planet, just about. You could go on the internet and read something. Learn something new, right? Get over yourself. Do something. Why, I fell out of heaven at 7 and my life's a magical journey. And if I throw a Hail Mary into the middle of nowhere, everything's going to work out for me in some spectacular fashion. And then, along the way, you're actually just going to turn into a resentful loser that has nothing, and you're scraping out the bottom of the barrel every month, lying to yourself. All right, that's not good. I don't know how else to put that. I think I've read, like, statistically, like 60% of America doesn't even have $1,000 in their bank account. And I read that somewhere. It was like 60% or like 56% don't even have $1,000. It's like, how do you end up in that situation? I don't, you got to figure it out. I mean, what's a very realistic way to, to generate yourself some money, right? Start taking your money and buying good assets. That's how you do it. You hold on to those assets forever. When you accumulate enough assets, the money becomes negligible. All right, but let's take a look at my personal finance situation. I thought it was going to take me about 5 months, but turns out it's not going to take me 5 months. It's going to take me about a week. I've been getting my finances ready to effectively float a large amount of debt, but turns out I don't even need to do that. The landowners don't even want me to pay. I legitimately just got myself 100 acres for free. Right, but that's the situation that I'm in now. Right, I mean, that's the situation that I am currently in. That is real life. This is not an opinion. This is not some Disneyland adventure. This is none of that. This is legitimate. This is exactly what is happening right now. All right, I mean, I got myself 100 acres and I don't even have to pay anything for it. I would anticipate that it cost me about $1,000 a month to grow my business by 250%. I'm just going to take the $1,000 out. And if you take a look at my broader finances, I would anticipate that I probably do something around $50,000 a month, $40,000 a month, something like that. And it's going to, and it will take $6,000 a month out of my own pocket. So where am I going to take this? Where am I going to get the $6,000 from? I'm going to pull the $6,000 out of the $40,000 to $50,000 that I make. Very, very, very simple, right? And I do this all the time. I do this with everything. If I want to buy more cattle, how do I do that? I liquidate the bigger animals and then I buy them smaller. I just take the money and effectively just, my cattle buy more cattle, right? My business runs it. My business pays for itself. My grain pays for my grain pays for itself, right? It's all very simple. Money is not complicated. Money is not difficult to understand. All right, and money is definitely not an opinion. Money is not an opinion. All right, it is not an opinion. Nobody cares about your opinion. If you have a bunch of opinions and you have no money, especially if you're going the wrong way, you're gonna die poor. Have fun with that. And it's sad. I'm not saying that to make fun of any. I'm not making fun of nobody. I'm legitimately. I'm saying this because it is sad. All right, it's legitimately sad. You're kind of an idiot. You're definitely poor. You're not gonna see. I mean, you're running the wrong way completely all the time. And I don't. How does that happen? You're gonna. It's sad. It's legitimately sad. All right, when you're looking for something, I mean, and I've already answered this question even probably 3 times in this video alone. If you're looking to make money, how would I suggest that you do it? And this is not just me. This is effectively borderline all the rich people on the entire planet. Effectively everybody. How do I suggest that you do it? How did I do it? And let's talk about my personal finances in a broader sense. Let's say I was in a situation, well, I am in a, like as of right now, maybe I have, maybe I have $35,000 cash. Why do I have $35,000 cash? And why am I not going to hold on to any more cash? Why am I not going to do that? Because after a certain point, the cash does not do anything. And if you are legitimately holding on to cash at the end of the day, you are going to get taxed the worst and it's not going to do anything. That is why. In terms of a personal finance, that is why. Let's say you go right now and you make yourself $500,000 and you hold on to that 500 grand. How much money do you think you will have to pay in taxes? How much do you think? Let's say that you made $500,000 cash and you held on to $500,000 cash. How much money do you think you would owe the government? Probably about half, about $250. But let's say that you have let's say that you made $500,000 cash. And you took that $500,000 cash and you found yourself a tax deductible asset.
It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what it is. You found something and you purchased that tax deductible asset, and you purchased all $500,000 worth of your money of that tax deductible asset. How much income tax would you pay the government? Zero. And if anything, if you can knowledgeably appreciate the value of that asset, of that $500,000 asset, you actually turned your negative into a positive. You're actually now accumulating money income tax free. And if you made $500,000, okay, if you let's just say $1 million to make the numbers easier. If you made $1 million, you would pay about $375,000 in income tax to the government. That's about how that's from my that's about how much. It might be 350, something like that. All right, it's going to be something like 375. But if you took all $1 million and you purchased a tax deductible asset, something that you understood, it is tax deductible, and you got a 1-for-1 deduction on it, how much money would you owe the government in income tax? You would owe nothing. Zero. Goose egg. Sue me. All right. If you what do you want? You want me to stop running my business? Because for me to pay income tax, I would effectively have to stop growing my business. Do you think that would be a benefit to anybody? I produce beef. Everybody eats beef, not everybody, but I mean a large, producing beef benefits the American economy greatly. What do you want me to do? You want me to stop running my business to pay income tax? Is that what you want me to do? Does that sound like a reasonable thing to do? Sue me. What do you want? If you make $1 million, and actually, let's actually take this a little bit further. If you make $1 million and you hold on to that $1 million as cash, you will probably be taxed $375,000, $350,000, something like that. And you will probably lose a portion of that due to inflation as well. You're not going to lose a portion of it, but effectively a portion of your money is actually going to be degraded through inflation. It probably will be. All right, I actually think that inflation is going to be bad for probably 10 years. Maybe, 5-10 years, something like that. Inflation is going to be bad. It might even be worse than 2%. So you're going to lose a portion of your money to inflation, and you're 100% going to have to pay income tax. But if you take that $1 million and you purchase yourself a tax deductible asset, you purchase $1 million worth of a tax deductible asset, how much money do you now owe the government? Zero. And your money is effectively it doesn't matter what it does. Cash is not the only way to have money. I talk about this all the time. It's all the same thing. You have $1 million worth of an equitable asset that you purchased at its equitable evaluation, then you're good to go. You could trade that asset back for cash if you legitimately wanted to. Liquidate your assets. Right? That's the whole idea, right? That's the whole idea. And in reality, if you do this and you knowledgeably appreciate this asset, you can actually make money on your asset income tax free. You went from having $1 million cash to having $1 million worth of an asset. This asset, you purchased it because it was tax deductible, and you purchased it at its equitable evaluation, and this asset has a multi-trillion-dollar market. It's a very large asset. It is a global commodity. It is land, real estate. It's something with a very large market pool. And so you took this asset and then you appreciated it by 10%. So technically you have now made $100,000. That $100,000, you do not owe taxes on it until you realize it, until you liquidate and actually convert it back into cash. You do not owe any income tax on it, and that is how you grow your income. That is how you grow your wealth tax free. And I'm not the only person that can do this. It's not unfair that I can do this. Everybody has access to the same information. Everybody has access to the same system. Everybody does. It doesn't matter who you are. You could have $1, you could have $10, you could have $100, you could have $1 million. It doesn't matter. Everybody has access to the same information. Everybody has access to the same opportunities. If you legitimately felt like, tomorrow, I found a good asset, and this asset has a multi-$100 billion market cap. This asset has a multi-trillion dollar market cap. I get a tax deduction for purchasing this asset. The tax deduction is a 1-for-1 or whatever it may be. talk to talk to the accountant about it, understand what kind of a tax deduction you're going to get, and then you convert your cash into that tax deductible asset, and then you also have a knowledgeable idea of how that asset is going to appreciate, then you can grow your wealth tax free. It does not matter how much money you have. You can do it. Everybody can. It's not just for rich people. Everybody can. All right, and in terms of my personal finances, I mean, that's a very realistic way to look at it. I mean, maybe my business, maybe I'll make 40, 50 grand a month. And it'll cost me about 6 grand. I'll just take the 6 grand out of the 40 grand. Am I going to be holding on to, $34,000 worth of cash every month? No, I'm not going to do that. What do you think I'm going to do, right? I'm going to purchase more assets. I'm going to grow my business. I'm going to do things like that. Give a check to the people that are leasing me land, etc. Pay a dividend, etc. That's the kind of stuff that I'm going to do with the money. Am I going to say, oh my God, now that I got cash, now that I got cash, am I? No, I'm not going to do that. All right, and I've already gone over that again 5 times in just this video. You're going to get taxed. If I hold on to cash, I would get taxed the hardest, and it's not going to do anything, and I'm probably going to lose a portion of it due to inflation. All right, that is why I don't hold on to cash. Realistically, I have like 25, 35 grand, something like that. But let's say that I went from having 25, 35 grand to having 100 grand. Is that really going to do anything? No, it's not. Why, and here's the reality situation of 25 to 35 grand. If my air conditioner blew up, I would just fix it. If my car blew up, I would just fix it. If there was damage to my home, I would just fix it. If I needed a lawyer, I would just buy one. I mean, 25, 35 grand can legitimately do anything. I don't need more than 25 to 35 grand. If I legitimately felt like I needed more cash, I could just get more cash. It doesn't matter to me. There are more things for me to be concerned about than holding on to more cash. Like growing my business, my tax burdens. Right, I mean, there are a lot of things to be more concerned about than holding on to more cash. 35 grand is effectively, I have determined that 35 grand is effectively enough money to do anything already. I don't need any more than 25, 35 grand, I don't. So now I think about other things, growing my business, right, finding a lease property. How much leverage do I want to take? What are my tax burdens? How many animals do I anticipate that I will be liquidating next month? How many, how many animals do I need to bring home next month? Right? How many animals can I precondition at the same time? Those are, I think about other things. I don't, the money is already negligible. I don't even think about the money. But me, when I say things like, oh my God, I don't have the money. You see how ridiculous that sounds? It sounds borderline idiotic, moronic. Imagine, and I talk about this in terms of a perspective. Imagine what if I started saying things that poor people say. You see how ridiculous these things sound? Oh my God, money doesn't make you happy. Imagine what if I said stuff like that. What is happiness, right? I mean, am I miserable? No, I'm not miserable. Right? It's not like, oh my God, now that I have a multi-million-dollar net worth and I'm generating myself I don't even know how much money I'm making. I'm making so much it doesn't even matter. I'm miserable. That is so incorrect. I don't even know how to. I'm not miserable because I'm wealthy. I'm not. All right, and I'm not happy. I'm not happy either way. I mean, what are we? I'm not miserable. I'm not hateful. I'm not resentful. I don't feel any of those things. Right? It just is what it is. I grow beef, I raise beef, I run my business, and I keep my peace with God. That's it. I don't know how else to put that. I understand that I make a boatload of money. I understand that I do. But, at the end of the day, it just is what it is. If you want to go and start yourself a cattle business, have fun. Nobody's stopping you. Nobody. Legitimately, if you live in America, you can do whatever you want. Go and start yourself a cattle business. Why not? Have fun. See if you can even get to the 10% mark. I haven't seen anybody even do 10%. I haven't even seen anybody do 10%. All right, let's see it. I mean, if you legitimately think it's unfair, then go and start a cattle business for yourself. All right, I don't know how else to put it. And and my whole financial situation was that I was anticipating that it would take me 5 months, but it's not going to take me 5 months. I'm getting started right now. I'm actually going to have all of these animals either at the sale barn, or I'm going to have them over off at the various lease properties by middle of next month. And for me to grow my business by 250%, it'll probably cost me about $1,000 a month. That's what I would anticipate. That's what I reasonably anticipate. I'm going to be growing my business by 250%, if not 350%, and it will cost me about $1,000 a month. And at the end of the day, like, the whole personal finance situation is that at the end of the day, it just is what it is, right? I'm the one who makes the money. I'm the one who knows how to make the money. I'm the one who has the money. Trust me, opinions don't matter. If you have a bunch of, and a very realistic way to look at it is, imagine what if I started saying things that poor people say. Imagine what if I started saying things that poor people say. I don't really even, what's something that a poor person says? I can't do it because I don't have the money. Imagine what if I said that. You see how borderline, it's almost like humiliating how idiotic that sounds. Right? I mean, it is so stupid that it is so incorrect. Like, I don't know how you got turned around so badly. I don't understand. I don't know how that happened to you. But I mean, you see how stupid that sounds. Imagine what if I said that. My business makes me like $50,000 a month, right? I legitimately do all of these things by myself. I grow my own grass. I run my own cattle. I run my own business. I do all of these things. But I mean, imagine what if I said that. What if I legitimately went around saying things like that? What if I, imagine what if I did that? You see just how moronic that sounds. And I talk about these things all the time, right? If I make 40 grand, if I make 50 grand and it costs me 6 grand, do you think I care about the 6 grand? I don't care about the 6 grand. I just take the 6 grand out of the 50 grand that I make. I don't know how else to put that. All right, and I gotta get this calf to stop. If I, let's say I make 40 grand. I make 40 grand and it costs me 6. I just take the 6,000 out of the 40,000 that I make. I don't sit there and go, oh my God, the money, right? There are a lot of things for me to think about. What direction do I want to take my business? Where do I see my business going? How do I grow my business? Do I want to buy myself some equipment? How much leverage would I like to take? What is my cash flow? There are a lot of things for me to consider. I don't care about the money. The money is already negligible. And if you really want to have a deeper understanding of this whole situation, I only have $35,000 cash. Maybe that's it. But even now, I can buy anything, practically anything with the 35 grand, practically anything. If I legitimately went and took a loan for $500,000, I could pay for that loan for like a year and a half with 35 grand. All right, I mean, 35 grand will practically, but there is no reason for me to hold on to any more cash. And if you're legitimately in a situation where you think cash is money, you're probably poor. That's a very realistic sign that you're poor. Very realistic sign. All right, if you are legitimately holding on to cash, I mean, you're going to get taxed the worst. It's not going to do anything. And after a certain point, more money doesn't really even do anything. I mean, I make a drastic sum of money, and what am I going to do with my money? Am I going to go and buy myself 5 Lamborghinis? No. Am I going to go and buy myself, no, what am I going to do, right? I'm going to grow my business. All right, I would not be surprised if I start doing something like within the next 2.5 months. I would not be surprised if I do something like a $50,000 a month, $40,000 a month. I would not be surprised. I would actually anticipate that when it's all said and done, I still have somewhere between $10,000 and $15,000 a month cash left over. Left over after I've done everything. I would not be surprised. All right, I will still have the cattle and everything. I will legitimately increase the size of my herd by 250%. I will have zero debt. And I will still be generating myself about $10,000 to $15,000 a month cash on top of that. I would not be surprised. You can write it down on a piece of paper, and we can talk about it in 3 months. I would not be surprised. All right, I will more than likely within three months, I will be able to increase the size of my herd by 250%, and I will still be generating about $10,000 to $15,000 a month of excess cash flow that legitimately I cannot do anything with it, even if I felt, it's just, after a certain point, it's like, the amount of money becomes so drastic that it's like, I don't know, at that point, maybe I hire a veterinarian or something. Oh, maybe, I don't know, I'll figure it out, right? I'm gonna take this step to grow, but I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if, I would not be, I would be willing to bet that that's what my balance sheet is going to, that's what my cash flow is going to look like. I'm actually going to have $10,000 to $15,000 a month left over after I've done everything, paid for everything that I needed, grown my business 250%. I will still have about $10,000 to $15,000 a month left over, even after I've paid for everything. I would not be surprised, and I will increase the size of my herd by 250%. All right, but it just is what it is. Okay, I am actually anticipating that I grow my business by about 250%, and it's going to cost me about $1,000 a month extra. That's what I anticipate. Reasonably, that is what I see happening. All right, money's not an opinion. Money is not an opinion. I don't know what else. If you're legit, if you're poor, you're gonna die poor by yourself. All right. Don't take. Definitely. I'm not going down with you. Definitely not. Have fun being poor. All right. Have fun being poor. Trust me, I don't care. If you died tomorrow, it wouldn't mean anything to me. All right, I don't know how else to put it. Would I rather see everybody succeed? Yes, I would rather see people succeed. I am not out here being malicious. I'm not sitting here, oh my God, leading people the wrong way. I'm not showing people the wrong thing. I'm not like being some malicious person. Would I rather see everybody succeed? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, it's not up to me. Would I rather see more people succeed? Absolutely, yes, I would. Do I save people? No, I don't. All right, I don't save people. All right, would I rather see more people succeed? Absolutely. And imagine being in my situation. I legitimately don't even know anybody even doing 10%. Legitimately not even 10%. All right, that's not good. All right, it's not good. I legitimately don't even know anybody doing 10%, and money's not an opinion. All right, and so I figured, why not show my perspective? I do very well for myself. I don't even know how, I don't even know how much money I make. I don't. I make a drastic amount. I don't even know how much money I make. I legitimately don't. I know I make a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if 99.99999% of the entire country is closer to being homeless than to generating as much money as me. I would not be surprised. I don't know how else to put that. And at the end of the day, it just is what it is, and I'm showing it to you, right? Deduce it for yourself, figure it out for yourself. I'm showing you a very real life case of doing very well. And I'm actually going to be growing this by about 250%, and it'll cost me about $1,000 a month. All right, legitimately, that is real life. I don't know how else to put that. And so that's it for me today, YouTube. Y'all have a good one.